So hello friends, how are you? Welcome to Muziboraman Creations. In this video, I am going to discuss about the important questions of English for the BLLB final examination 2019. So BLLB final examination English consists of total 100 marks, from which 20 marks is in internal and 80 for the final or the theory examination. So firstly, I am going to discuss about the 80 marks, including 12 marks or the 2 marks questions, and the short questions will be covered from these parts only. So firstly, you have to know the syllabus of the BLLB first semester examination. You will get it in the description part of this video. So in previous video I had already discussed about the important questions for Hindu law for BLLB and LLB first sem. So in this video there will be a detailed discussion on the important questions of English for BLLB first sem. So let's start the video. So I shall recommend the questions, those which are important for the exam portion only. So number one is relating to parts of speech. So there will be some questions from the parts of speech. For example, what is meant by parts of speech? Mention all and illustrate any two of them. Or what is parts of speech? Mention all and illustrate any two. Or there will be some specific questions such as mention the every classes or mention the classes of noun, pronoun, adjective, etc. So in 2019-18 the question was about mention the all and discuss or analyze the main divisions of noun or classification of noun. In 2017 there was the question about the classification of pronoun. So in 2019 there will be a question which is important, very important, that what is parts of speech, discuss the mention all and discuss the part or the classifications of pronoun. So parts of speech, you have to write the definition of parts of speech and mention all the 9 parts of speeches. They are noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective, conjunction, interjection, preposition and determiners. So after writing the definition, you have to mention all the parts or classes of parts of speech, and then you have to illustrate or discuss which part is required in the question. For example, if there is a question that illustrate the parts or classification of pronoun, and then write the definition of pronoun and then go to the analysis part, including the characteristics or the classifications. So first question is over, and then there will be question on tense. Question number 2 is from tense. So from tense there will be questions like what is meant by tense, discuss all the classification of tense with examples or with its various uses. Or there will be some questions as what is tense? The tense of a verb is its form that indicates the beginning, the continuity and the degree of completeness of its action. Illustrate the statement with forms and uses of various tenses. So from the tense part, if you write the answer, firstly you have to write the definition of tense and then the various classification of tense, such as the tense is divided into 3 types: past, present and future, and then go to the analysis part or the main portion which is required in the question. For example, if it's given that it discuss the classes of tense with various uses and examples, so then go, after writing definition and classification, then go with the other classifications. Thus the 3 tenses are divided into 12 classes: present, past, future, present indefinite, past indefinite, future indefinite, present continuous, past continuous, future continuous, and then such write all the 12 types or classifications, and then go through the analysis of these 12 parts. For example, present present indefinite. Now in present indefinite, go to the formation. What is the formation? Subject plus verb plus object. Then give an example and then go to the uses of present indefinite. So from the tense part there will be questions on definition of tense, types of tense, their forms and uses. So you write the answer systematically. And then question number 3 is from voice. Question number 3 will be from voice. So there will be question on voice. So if you want to know about the voice sense, there will be the definition of voice. Voice means what we say. Voice sense is a part of transformational sentences. So there will be questions like what is meant by voice sense, discuss the various roles of voice sense. Or there will be questions as active voice is subjective and passive voice is objective. Discuss the statement or illustrate the statement with the various roles of voice sense. Such questions generally comes in exams. So firstly, write the answer systematically. What is voice sense definition? Next, types of voice sense or voice. Number 1 is active and then passive voice, and then go through the analysis part. What are the rules of voice sense? And then voice sense according to tenses and voice sense according to sentences. And last, you have to give conclusions. So while you are writing the answers of 12 marks questions, then go through. Firstly you have to write the introduction part and then analysis part, and lastly you have to write the conclusion part. So we are done with 3 questions. Firstly, parts of speech. What is parts of speech? Mention all and illustrate any 2 of them, or noun, pronoun, adjective, which whatever is given in question. And then tense part. What is tense? Discuss the various tense with its type, uses and forms. And then voice sense. What is voice sense? Discuss the various rules of voice sense. And then number 4, speech or narration. There will be a question on speech or narration. So in this part you have to write about what is speech or narration, types of narration, direct, indirect, and then write all the rules regarding narration. So there will be a question, for example, what is a speech? Discuss the various roles in reporting a direct speech into indirect speech. Discuss the various changes in tenses in reporting a direct speech into an indirect speech. So firstly write the introduction or the concept of speech in introduction part, and then what are the rules. So in reporting or in changing the direct speech into indirect speech, there are various rules. For example, firstly, changes in pronoun. I becomes he or she, we becomes they. So such as there are changes in pronoun, changes in time, changes in tense, changes in place. So you have to write about the changes in tenses in reporting direct or indirect, direct speech into indirect speech. So in narration part, there will be some questions in which the main analysis part will be given or mentioned in the question part. So you have to write serially from part 1 to 2, from introduction to analysis part with examples, and lastly you have to give the conclusion part. So voice, tense, narration, parts of speech, and then moving on to question number 5 from synthesis of sentence. In high school or higher secondary level, we have found the combination of sentences or synthesis of sentences. So during that time we did only the short questions of 1 mark only. But in this BLB first semester final English examination, you have to write all the rules regarding the synthesis of sentence. How can we make a sentence a complex sentence by combining 2 simple sentences? Give examples. How can we make a simple sentence into complex sentences? Or how can we add 2 sentences together into a simple or a complex or a compound sentences. So you have to write all the rules regarding the synthesis or combination of sentences. There will be questions. Write an explanatory note. Write an explanatory note on synthesis of sentences. You have to write in brief explanation. You have to explain all the rules regarding synthesis of sentences. So moving on, question number 6. Basic sentence pattern. So now there are various sentence patterns in English. We have to know only about 7 or 9 patterns. For example, subject plus verb plus object, which are generally used in our daily life. Subject plus verb plus complement, subject plus verb plus adjunct, subject plus verb plus object plus adjunct, etc. So there are 7 basic patterns of sentences. There will be some questions from basic sentence pattern as explain the 7 basic sentence pattern. Explain the basic sentence pattern in English. So you have to write about what is sentence and then types of sentences or basic sentence pattern, introduction and the analysis part, and lastly give the conclusion of basic sentence pattern. And then number 7. Classification of sentences. Number 7 is classification of sentences. There will be, now moving on to the questions. What is a sentence? Explain in detail the various classification of sentences. So while you are writing the answers of classification of sentences, firstly write what is sentence and then write the classification of sentences as the various types of sentence. There are 5 types of sentence according to their modification or according to their source as assertive sentence, imperative sentence, interrogative sentence, exclamatory sentence, and then operative sentence. And there are 3 types of sentences according to their use: simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence. 4 types: simple, complex, compound sentence. There are 4 types of sentences according to their uses. So you have to write all the classifications of sentences in this answer. Firstly write what is sentence and then classification of sentences according to their source and then according to their use, and give the conclusion part. Next, moving on to question number 8, which is Concord. So what is Concord? So Concord is subject verb agreement. For example, if I say about I eat rice, you and me are the friends. So here subject and verb, the relationship or the agreement between the subject of a sentence and the verb of a sentence is called concord. So concord are 2 types. While you are writing the answers, there will be some questions about what is concord, give a detailed analysis. So while you are writing the answers of these questions, you have to write what is concord, introduction part, and then moving on to the next analysis part, you have to write what are the types of concord. There are 2 types of concord. They are, number 1 is notional and then grammatical. So there are 2 types of concord or subject verb agreement. One is notional concord and second one is grammatical concord. So you have to analyze these parts and then write the various rules of concord or subject verb agreement. There are 12 rules. I shall discuss about the rules or answers. If you have any problem, comment in the video description or comment section. I shall try to give the answers in the next video. If you have any problem, please message me. And then moving on to question number 9, which is punctuation. A very important point is punctuation in exam point of view or in our daily life. So we generally use various marks as full stop, comma, inverted comma, brackets, explanation mark, quotation marks, quotation, and then colon, semicolon, etc. We use these marks in our general English in our daily life. So these marks are called punctuation marks. So there will be some questions from in your exam from this topic punctuation is that what do you mean by punctuation? The proper use of punctuation marks give more clarity and sense to the passage or speech. Justify the statement illustrating various punctuation marks. So there will be questions as what do you mean by punctuation marks? So what is punctuation mark? Which gives more sense to a sentence. So there will be quotation that the use of punctuation mark give more clarity and sense to a sentence. So you have to justify this statement by the use of various punctuation marks. So firstly you have to write what is punctuation and mention what are the punctuation marks, and then mention what are the uses of comma, semicolon, etc. So we have done with the 12 marks question. I guarantee you that the 9 questions which I have given to you, there are total 9 questions which I have already discussed. There will be no questions except this 9 in your final exam. I guarantee it. So please don't be so tensed. Don't take any depression in your mind that there will be a very tough exam. It's not tough. It's easy for you if you read all this which I have given. So now moving on to 2 marks questions. There will be some 2 marks question from the punctuation marks this topic. For example, mention 2 uses of comma, 2 uses of semicolon, 4 uses of full stop, 2 uses of quotation mark, or 2 uses of semicolon, bracket, inverted comma, etc. So there will be some 2 marks questions from the uses. So read it properly, the uses of punctuation mark. Please read the topic properly for both 12 marks and 2 marks. So now I am going to give some important questions of 2 marks. They are as what is pronoun? Define emphatic pronoun. So define emphatic pronoun. What is pronoun? Define emphatic pronoun with examples. So what is emphatic pronoun? Which emphasizes the noun. For example, I shall do the work myself. So here there is a work which I will do myself. It emphasizes me. So the work it will be done by me. Here in this sentence, myself, me is emphasized by the pronoun I. So it's called emphatic pronoun. You have to write. So emphatic pronoun is the pronoun which emphasizes the noun. For example, I shall do the work myself. In this word, in this sentence, the word myself emphasizes I or me. And then next question is number 2, which is important. Thesaurus. What is thesaurus? You have to know. So there will be questions. What is thesaurus? Give examples. In exams, what is thesaurus? Give examples. And then number 3 is what is meant by idiomatic phrase? Give examples. What is thesaurus? Give examples. And then what is idiomatic phrase? Give examples. There will be some questions from this like. And then from the classification of sentences which I have already given, there will be some questions. How is a complex sentence different from compound sentence? How is a simple sentence different from the complex sentence? And from tenses, there will be several questions such as give two uses of present indefinite, or give mention two uses of past perfect tense, etc. And then from we have to read from the verb part, we have to read modal auxiliary verb, and then auxiliary verb. There will be some questions. Define modal auxiliary verb with examples. Define auxiliary verb with examples. So first of all, we have to know about the definition of verb and then uses of verb, or the kinds of verb, and then go to the auxiliary verb. And there are some modal auxiliaries. You have to know what is modal auxiliary verb, define with examples, or what is auxiliary verb, define with example, what is verb, define with example, what is preposition, define with example, etc. And then there will be other questions such as dictionary. What is meant by dictionary? As we know, dictionary is a book which consists of several words, and the meaning of the words which we don't know, we search it in the dictionary to know about the meaning of these words, which the meaning we don't know. So then you have to write in the exam what is dictionary, introduction part, and then entry elements of a dictionary. Entry elements. From dictionary, what is dictionary? Discuss or mention the entry elements of a dictionary. You have to write the answers of these questions. And then most important part of BLLB first semester English final examination. What is legal essay? Discuss the uses or various types of legal essay. So there are some questions from legal essay. There will be 12 marks question also from legal essay. It's common. I did not recommend legal essay because there I cannot give any common topic which is important for legal essay. So therefore I did not give legal essay as a recommendation. Please don't mind, please read legal essay. So there will be some questions such as fundamental rights and duties, child labor in India, and then foreigners issue in India, such as flood in Assam. There will be some topics which will be given for legal essay. So you have to write about this with mentioning the provisions, constitutional provisions while writing the legal essay. So what is legal essay? Discuss the various types of legal essay, or the uses of legal essay, or the entry elements of legal essay. So friends, we are done with the 12 marks and 2 marks questions which are important for BLLB first semester English final examination. So in this video, I have discussed all about the 80 marks from the BLLB first semester English examination. So friends, the BLLB first sem English contains total 100. So you have to give 2 sessionals, first sessional, second sessional, which will consist of total 5 plus 5, 40, from which there will be, if you get 8 marks, then 1, 16, 2, such as 2 sessionals will cover total 5 plus 5, 10 marks, and there will be a seminar and viva. So both the 4 examinations contain 20 marks, and then the theory paper will be of 80 marks. So thus this exam contains total 100 marks from English. So please read the questions, go through the syllabus and read all the recommended questions which I have recommended. So please subscribe to my channel for more videos. If you have any questions regarding these questions, important questions which I have recommended, please write it in the comment section or message me. So share it with your friends, like the video, subscribe to my channel for more information and videos. So in the next video I shall discuss about the important questions of political science and sociology. So you will find all the important questions for BLLB and all other semesters for five important questions, and all the question papers will be available in my channel. So you can go through my channel and watch the videos for important question papers or the all the question papers of final examination of semesters. So thanks for watching the video. Welcome to my new video after that.